How do you craft a killer interview?
Well, it starts with stalking the victim.
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to leave the studio right now.
You need to know who you are interviewing first. If they have social media, you need to know what they're posting about. What are people posting about them? It's so hard to get people to share your podcast, but it's not hard to get them to say a funny line and to want to connect with you on social. It has gotten me hundreds of new followers within days.
All because of one little trick. How do you craft a killer interview?
Well, it starts with stalking the victim.
Oh, good Lord. I'm going to leave the studio right now.
It's true.
Elaborate.
Yes. So you need to know who you are interviewing first.
That's what she means, everybody. You don't literally stalk, but you need to research. You gotta know something.
Researching / stalking in a good way.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is if they have social media, you need to know what they're posting about. And also, what are people posting about them? So one of the first things that I do is look at someone's LinkedIn and I see who has recently recommended them. And then I try to connect with those people. And then I say to them, could I connect with you? I'm getting ready to interview the person that you just recommended, and I drop their name. And then I say, is there anything, if you were interviewing them, that you would want to ask them?
That's pretty hardcore. You're going into the comments and connecting with people who commented on the people that you're going to interview. I never would have thought to do that.
Yes.
Wow.
I've done that many times, especially when I don't know the person well. Okay. So if I want a unique question, I want to know who knows them well, because somebody who usually gives a recommendation to someone has had an experience with them.
Right.
And when you've had an experience with someone and you actually know them in real life, like if you've worked a job with them or you've done a podcast episode with them, people that you're writing a recommendation for, you probably know a little bit deeper. So you want to connect with the person that knows them deeper, because then you might get a good curveball question.
Is that how you were able to... Okay, let's back up, because LinkedIn wasn't really a thing when you were producing for Springer and Nanny 911. I feel this was embedded in your psyche. This is
This is a new tactic.
This is in your DNA. So how did you do what you're talking about back then before we had social media?
Well, I don't have a problem talking to people. So
you obviously don't. We'll get to that. I have specific examples from our trip to Dallas.
Yeah, so it was more run and gun then. It was Springer was just go to a strip club and Jello wrestling night and see if any girl has two guys fighting over them.
Jello night, strip club. Wow. Okay.
Know your audience.
Yeah. That was the audience, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
might have found guests that way. Nanny 911, honestly, you could still in the same way. That was kind of at the start of social media, so it would have been more kind of like Facebook now. If you're wanting to cover a topic, you can literally just poll your audience. Hey, do you know anybody that has their hands full with twins or triplets or 4 kids under 17 like myself? And would they be open to being on television and telling their story and getting advice from someone who might be able to get them on a better schedule?
Okay, so we're going to get back to crafting a killer interview, but because you talk about having 4 kids under the age of 17, I have to know, what do they think about mom being a podcaster, 1, but 2, have you explained to them what Jerry Springer is?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't think they fully understand that, and that is partially why I chose not to be in the documentary. There are parts of that show that happened before we all had phones and were recording everything permanently and forevermore.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Aren't you glad that we grew up? Not like I did anything illegal. I'm just saying, with the way that all it takes is somebody to see, oh, well, wow, I can't believe Reena used to do this. Well, guess what? I'm not going to offer her that job.
It is a little scary considering some of my old episodes have surfaced on YouTube. And if you know what to search, you can find them.
Ooh, fall into my rabbit hole. No, just kidding. Okay, so back to crafting a killer interview. What do you think is getting overused when it comes to new podcasters or even people that are like 100 episodes in?
Yeah, great question. So I think one way to keep it fresh versus overused, I mean, you need to have your speaking points, but don't always say, well, you know, the name of my company is Speke Podcasting, and let me tell you what Speke means. Like you told me, you've already kind of shared that on multiple episodes. So maybe you could say it in a different way or say it briefly, but also point them to past episodes you've done on that. You know what I mean? That's a great way to re-advertise an old episode. I think about things that you don't share or you might not 100% be comfortable sharing and kind of inch your way into telling your audience things that are a little bit more personal. And also find ways to find like common ground with the person that you're going to interview. So here's an example of that. Like I had a past client reach out to me recently and he was like, hey, you know, here's another lady that I worked with in healthcare and she's a dynamic guest and she, you know, helps people with career transition. So I looked at her LinkedIn and it said that she was a religion major. And I was like, oh, you're comfortable like talking about religion. Cool. I've had some different chapters of questioning my faith. How did you become a religion major? Did someone say something to you? So yes, she wants to talk about people and their career journeys, but maybe start somewhere else and get to the career journey after. Like, go back to what somebody majored in. When did you know you wanted to major in that? Did you start with that or did you end up at that?
It seems to me like it's okay to take a detour. It's okay to kind of circle around. It doesn't have to be necessarily one straight uphill and then back downhill as you debrief, as you wrap up the interview. It's okay to take twists and turns.
Yes.
Did I interpret that right?
100%. And I love that you just did that. I think another really great thing about crafting a killer interview is either if you're going to have a co-host, like they need to be able to synthesize your thoughts and kind of restate things in case somebody might have missed something. So way to go there. and if the other person doesn't do that, you need to be able to do that. So here's some of the things that we covered in this interview that I want you to remember from it.
Right.
And you can kind of leave the listener with that. And you know, my dad is the co-host of my podcast, Better Call Daddy, and I feel like he's really good at doing that. He's also really good at like taking whatever theme we've done in the episode and being like, and that's why we have Better Call Daddy, because we do that too. You know, like he's good at putting in a plug, putting in a call to action, like getting the audience to remember why they're listening in the first place. And then also like interpreting the guest's story and synthesizing their thoughts and adding his like intergenerational perspective onto whatever the guest said. So I think another really beautiful thing about crafting a killer interview is to wrap up your thoughts, have a call to action, and then weigh in on like what the guest shared with you and how you related to it.
Okay. All right. Because I've done like over 1,000 interviews since God knows when. I know I don't look a day over 30, but that's one thing that I don't think I've ever really done or mastered is the wrap up, the debrief. And so perhaps something that would work, and maybe I integrated into the podcast about podcasting and into Cruise Through HTX. And this is where I'm asking you, and you can sort of be my coach, is that what would you think of, we do the cold opens, what about a cold outro? Where you're like, well, I talked to Reena today, and man, was she on fire because she talked about all the ways that waka waka waka, right?
Yeah.
Wrap up and then give the CTA.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't have to like, for this particular conversation, we don't have to, thank you, Reena, for coming by the show. Oh, absolutely. And don't forget to subscribe to Better Call Daddy, right?
And how can we contact you?
Yeah.
BetterCallDaddy.com.
Right. And so instead it's like, hey, thanks for coming by the show. Thanks for having me. And then, so what'd you think about that conversation? You know, here's what I got from it. And then list 3 points.
Or you could even say something like, I love that you're talking to inspirational fathers and daddy's girls and finding common ground between the two of them. And I'm a dad, so I relate to that.
Right. Huh. Okay. Yeah.
But you also could just synthesize it kind of like as we go. Because like you just did that a second ago where you like tried to understand what I said and then restated it in a better way. There are hosts that do that really well. And I appreciate that because I'm like, oh, wow, I love that you understood what I said and said it even better than me.
Well, and thank you. Also, I think it's also a function of listening to what the guest is saying. So I was actively listening, not really just waiting for Reena to finish talking so I can get to the next question.
That's an advanced listening skill, though, and an advanced interviewer, because in the beginning, we're all doing that. It really takes getting comfortable on the mic to be able to listen and then just respond and be on topic. I think with new podcasters, it's good to have like your little list, but be open to kind of switching them up if you have a good follow-up question.
Yeah, it's very easy to forget how comfortable I am with this being here.
Yeah.
And some people are not.
Right.
Like this is intimidating to some people.
Yes.
Right. And we're on camera right now, and the camera adds a whole other dimension. And then you add, oh, wow, well, I've not only got these mics here, but then there's a camera that's rolling. And then there are these big intimidating lights. And then, wow, I got these soundproof panels. I'm in an actual studio. And now I'm getting a panic attack because I'm not used to this.
Yeah. Do you have any tricks to get people to not feel like the lights are on and the sound panels are behind them?
Every now and then I will tell somebody who I kind of get is nervous, and I'll tell them in a very unironic way, just ignore this and all the lights. We're just going to stare at you awkwardly, and just kind of like break the ice by telling them how awkward it is, but try and be funny about it. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that pointing them out and naming that they're there, but they don't bother you is a good idea. And also maybe just saying like, this is edited.
Yeah.
So if you totally flub, it's all good. We got that out.
Yeah. I try not to say that because I think it
You're like, more work.
yeah. One,
it's not edited.
more work. And then also, I think it also plants the seed. It's like, good. I don't need to be on top of my game because if I mess up.
Good point.
You know? Yeah. But I mean, we tell people, my clients will tell people, it's okay. It's all pre-recorded. It's not live. And that's the beauty of podcasting, is that it's not live. It's not on a local TV affiliate or a radio show where you only have 2 or 3 minutes to get the point out. It's relaxed, you know?
I am curious, like, what you see as differences between podcasting and like your radio days of like having to hit a post and like deliver exactly like a 30-second spot.
Oh my God. I just love that you said hitting a post.
It's tough.
It came natural.
Ooh, no wonder you were there so long.
I loved hitting the post. And
you're like, did you hear that post? No space in between.
Let me tell you, when I used to dream about being on the radio, when I was starting in college, I would actually talk up posts in my truck listening to the radio. Like I would literally practice doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. But and then I learned this one. This is really getting into the weeds. I'll answer your question, but there's this one trick that this guy, he would because when you take caller, you were on the radio, so you know this. So when you take caller 10 or whatever for a contest, and sometimes the clock will be ticking because if you have a shitty winner, hey, Reena, you won $1,000, and then thanks. Or they their whole way, right? And so he had this genius trick where he would start the song back in cue and then reverse the winner, and it would hit the post, and then he would mark it, and then he'd go all the way back in the Vox Pro, and it would. And I'm like, what are you doing? I know what you're doing. Why have I never done this before? And it was just the most genius hack.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's like a DJ move.
That's a serious DJ move. And like, this is like over the head of anybody who's listening as a podcaster. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
That's crazy, though.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, it shaped me into being a producer and host, the same guy that I am now. But to answer your question, I really like that we can just take our time and chill, and we don't have to worry about, oh, well, you know, I've only got 14 seconds over this Justin Bieber track. And, oh, well, you know what? I better not say this because I don't want to piss off the suits. Mm-hmm. And what do you think? Because you came from not just radio, but also TV.
Yeah. Well, when we were doing a shoot at the Funeral Museum pre our event, I was noticing even your ability to just stand in front of a prop and deliver a line. So that can be good for doing an ad. That can be good for doing an intro, a cold intro, a cold outro. Like, I feel like you have an advantage there. And I also, I've tried to incorporate that even into my own intros.
So remember, I told you that we were going to talk about the trip to Dallas, where Reena was, you were working the room so hard, and you were a room manager?
Yes.
Okay.
Technically a room manager.
Love a room manager.
Title.
Working, I mean, just like working it. And Reena was going to people that I'm guessing you've never met.
Never met.
And she would have them just say the name of her show, and the different inflections you got and the different styles.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. The first girl who encouraged me to do it, like, she came up to me.
And so I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Like, explain why you did that and how you're incorporating that into Better Call Daddy, because that is genius and that's something that people can learn.
Yeah. Thank you. So a girl came up to me and she was like, you know, just friendly and asking me about the event. And I don't even know why I said it to her, but I liked her vibe. She had a whole kind of like interesting look. She had a shaved head and she was bubbly, and the girlfriend that she was with looked like a yogi. And I was like, just her approach and how she came up to me, I felt like was interesting and would make a fun clip. And I had done it a couple times in the past where, like, if a bartender looks like a character, I'd be like, hey, can I get you to say, I think you better call Daddy because he like looks like a character. She looked like a character. And so I was like, can I get you kind of like how you just approached me to be like, hey, girl, I think you better call Daddy, just like very casual.
Yeah.
So that's back to even what we were talking about. Just give somebody a one line, give somebody an open, give somebody something easy to say that they can repeat, and that can make great content. So she did it, and she was like, even better than that, let's take your phone and go do this to 20 people. I was like, oh yeah, I love what you're drinking. And so, and then the first one I posted at like 1 a.m, like from a bar, you know, didn't even matter the hashtags, didn't even matter anything.
You were out at 1 a.m. Was that the pickleball night?
That was at the Chicken and Pickle. And honestly, I went up to this girl and I was like, what's the drink that's being chosen by the most people? Like, she had like 6 choices. I was like, which one are the ladies grabbing? And she was like, well, actually this one. And I was like, okay, let's do that again on camera. That's funny.
Yeah.
And then I was like, better yet, can I get you to say Better Call Daddy? And then I posted her and like 5,000 views with like in the first hour. I was like, okay, I'm on to something here. And it's so hard to get people to share your podcast, but it's not hard to get them to say a funny line and to want to connect with you on social. So it's like, what channel are you on that you use? And she was like, Facebook. I'm not really a Instagrammer. So I posted it from Facebook, tagged her on Facebook at the bar. And then I shared it to my Instagram as well. And it just took off. And then I was like, oh man, I can't post all of these in one night. I've got like 20 of them. I actually, the guy that you noticed on my Instagram, so this one guy, he did like a double chin. He was like, better, better. It was like so funny. But I was staggering them. I was like airing one a day because you don't want to like put 20 videos up at once.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh, I thought I didn't make the cut. I was like, there's the line. Yes, you made the cut, Better Call Daddy. And then another guy was like, and in Portuguese. And I'm like, and in Portuguese, Better Call Daddy. Hey, girl, and Better Call Daddy. It was like whatever line they said or they gave me or they DM'd me. I just used that, and then hashtag Better Call Daddy, the name of my show, hashtag Chicken and Pickle, where it was at, hashtag iHeart, that put on the party, hashtag podcast movement, because everyone's searching that right now.
Right.
And it has like gotten me hundreds of new followers within days.
Yeah. Yeah. All because of one little trick.
One little trick. And I was even telling you, I'm like, we had these two hot chicks at your party at Dr. Sturm's office. I'm like, get them to say, are you brave enough to come to Speke Fest?
Yeah.
And
that's
let's
that's a trick that I'm gonna start incorporating. And so that's a beautiful segue. That is what we call in the radio world and probably TV, I guess, a beautiful segue into back into Speke Fest, because we're talking about crafting a killer interview. That's the workshop that you're going to be hosting.
Yes.
And so let's get the elevator pitch about like what your workshop is going to be, and then yes.
Yes. So my workshop is going to be interactive. It is going to be showing you the difference between scared and prepared.
Love that. So this is just one of several workshops that we're going to have at Speke Fest 2025, Night of the Living Pod, because we're fighting the zombie podcast plague. No more zombie podcasts. We want you to launch your show. We want you to maintain your show. We want you to keep going past episode 50, 100, 200, and more. So we want to see you October 10th and 11th at the National Museum of Funeral History. Reena is just one of many of my podcast pals that's going to be on hand. We're going to have, in addition to the workshops, panels and keynote speeches, and we're going to get you all that information and everything you need to know at speakpodcasting.com/SpekeFest2025. Thank you, Reena.
Thank you. I got a daddy to participate with me. We're talking about things that I don't normally talk about, and we are jazzed for Speke Fest 2025. Make sure you're there. You don't want to miss this.
All right.